Sahih Bukhari hadith. Hazrat Jabir radiyallahu anhu, Ibn Abdullah, Hazrat Jabir ibn Abdullah radiyallahu anhu narrates this hadith. The meaning of this hadith is, he stated that once Rasulullah was sleeping and he was relaxing and the angels came. The angels came. And half came one side, half came the other side. And some angels, they said that, do you know that Rasulullah is sleeping? And the angel said, sleeping? And the other angel said, no. He doesn't fall asleep. He doesn't sleep. Subhanallah, look how Allah Ta'ala is praising His Habib, His beloved Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. This is the introduction. That who was Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam? What was his greatness? He was a great. That whatever Allah Ta'ala made apparent, whatever Allah Ta'ala wanted to make apparent, obvious about Rasulullah was made apparent. And it was shown to us. And what Allah wanted to make hidden is hidden. And we even after was hidden, trying to delve, debating tafsirs and hadith, and we make our deen, debating with people. No, he was this, and Rasulullah said this. But Allah Ta'ala said, whatever you needed to know about Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, I showed you, and it's preserved in the Quran and the hadith. And it's clear. But we run after those hidden things that we run after, try to extract things, we argue, and sects and groups and debates. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. If Allah wanted, He would have shown us those things as well. So it's a waste of time run after. So the angels, half of them said that Rasulullah is asleep. The other angel said, no, the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is not asleep. He is awake. He is that individual. He is that human being. He is that Prophet that his eyes are closed, but his heart is awake. So what kind of sleep is that? His heart is awake. His eyes are asleep, are closed, but his heart is awake. This is the introduction of Rasulullah, Sahih Bukhari. Then they said that the example of the Prophet ﷺ is like what? We'll give you an example. That you have a house. You have a house. You make a house, and inside the house you put the mats. You make a house, and inside that house you put the mats. Yeah, like the rugs. And then a person who gives da'wah, who propagates, and he's sent to go and call the people, come in this house and eat the feast on the food mat. And the person, the host, he says, people come. And those people, when they're invited, they accept the invitation. They go into the house, and then they sit on the dasarkhan, the food mat, they will eat, they will feast, eat the feast. So, they said that house is Jannah, paradise. And the da'i, the host, the inviter is Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, who's inviting people. The angels are saying this in this hadith. They're introducing that Rasulullah came to give da'wah. And those people who come into the house, in other words, who follows and obeys the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he who comes and eats the feast is that person who follows Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and then mashallah he'll get paradise. So the person who left the obedience, the ittiba', the orders of Rasulullah, the sunnah, who left the ittiba', then he rejected the invitation. He didn't even come into the house to eat the feast. So he rejected. He was called. He didn't come. He could not enter into the house. He didn't eat. And nor will he ever get the paradise. And he will not get the face of Rasulullah. Understand the hadith, brothers? So this is clear cut, isn't it, what our deen is? That Iman and Islam we cannot receive without the obedience to the Prophet ﷺ. So how can a person be a wali Allah? How can a person say he's a wali when he's not following the sunnah? How can he say he's pious when he's not got the sunnah in his life? My friends, Islam and Iman is not complete if there's no ittiba to Rasulullah ﷺ. And how can a person be wali? He doesn't know how to do this. How do I earn this? How do I go here? If we don't have a standard, a criterion of how to implement the deeds. In this hadith, it's proven clear cut that Rasulullah is the da'i, and he invited the people to the feast, and those who obey him and follow him are those who enter the house to eat the feast. So to measure if I'm right or wrong is Rasulullah his own life, and by looking physically at his lifestyle, I know if I'm right or wrong. But if I don't go to him, don't see him, learn about him, what he did, what he didn't do, then how can I say I'm on the right path? For example, I'm practicing a deed. If I want to see, is there sunnah in this action or not? Am I obeying Rasulullah in this action or not? If there's not, then I should leave that deed. If the whole dunya is doing it, there's no sunnah, say no, the whole dunya, if another earth comes and they will do it, but I'll only do it if the proof is there that Rasulullah did it. Beyond, Hazrat Hasan Basri rahmatullahi and Hazrat Rabia Basri rahmatullahi was there at the same time. Both were from Basra. Both were walis of Allah, and both were sahibe karamat, and both had miracles in their life, and both had high stage close to Allah. And there used to be competition between the two, and both were living in the same place. Hazrat Hasan Basri, what did he do? He was on the banks of the river, and Hazrat Rabi Basri was there. And what did he do? He put his prayer mat on the water, and it was floating on the water, and he started to pray salah. And he showed the miracle, mashallah. He was a wali of Allah. And the karamat was jais. And Hazrat Rabia Basri, she left her prayer mat, threw it into the air. And she started to pray salah and it was floating in the air. Not in the water, both prayed the salah. And after that, Rabia Basra said, Sheikh, that mashallah you showed a miracle. That your prayer mat's on water and you're praying. Mashallah, it's flowing on water, floating on water. And big karamat I showed that I went in the air and I was above you, floating above you. But now it's not my miracle, it's not your miracle, your achievement. Let me show you now. I was floating in the air, wasn't I? But now see, there's a fly that's flying in the air. There's a fly, there's a bee, there's a wasp. So this is not some achievement. This mosquito is flying. So this creation of Allah. So what is it that you've achieved? And what have I achieved? I've not achieved nothing. I was floating there and you were floating on the water. Look, the fishes, they're swimming in the sea, they're floating, they're treading water. So what is this kamal? The statement here is that the beauty and the miracle in a Muslim's life is that he practices the sunnah. Not one bead should be away from the sunnah. And this is the greatest miracle that a person can see and achieve in life. Every part of life, every single, how did Rasulullah used to sleep? How did he used to lie down? How did he enter? How did he take his shoes off? How did he used to pray salah? How did he pray in congregation? How did he join the congregation? What is the hukam? What is the order? The Sahaba Ikram, the companions.